Good afternoon and welcome to the first ever NFTCON. And the topic today is going to be powering decentralized creative innovation. I'm your moderator, Ira Liss. I work with Filmio.com, film.io. Filmio is a creators platform in order to engage with fans and to be able to get them a way to greenlight their projects, content in a tokenized fashion. And I'm the VP of content there. And we have three terrific panelists today. The first being Scottie of DOKO. Scottie has advised on NFTs for many tier one artists, global entertainment companies, festival event organizers, and IPs. He's an experienced financial professional with years of experience at leading global financial institutions prior to entering the blockchain industry in 2017 by co-founding Oracle Partners. Welcome, Scottie. We also have Kunz, who's the CTO of Calaxy. And Kunz is a Chief Technology Officer at Calaxy. Previously, he was an early team member at Hedera Hashgraph and studied computer science and philosophy at the University of Arizona. Welcome, Cooper. We also have Jure Z, founder of Clout.art, Clout.art. Jure is an entrepreneur, visionary, and a pioneer in the NFT space. In 2018, he co-founded DOKO, the first protocol for certifying non-fungible tokens and the first dApp framework for ERC 721. 1 year later, with Vibo, he built a digital merchandise e-commerce platform for monetizing fandom. Now, with Clout.art, he's building a sustainable content value model for future creator economies with the help of NFTs. Welcome, Yuri.
Hey.
So in the last couple of months, I don't know if anyone has been tracking what the statistics are, but we are currently up about 50% over the last quarter in terms of NFT volume. Since 2020, we're up almost 3,500%. So obviously we're in an era where not only are NFTs red hot, but it looks very much so like they're ready to stay. And one of the ideas that I think is fortifying this is the notion of community or social NFTs, NFTs that are supported by communities that have a adoption rate that is built into the community itself. In the last week alone, we've seen the non-existent token created by the former creator of Bitcoin. We've seen Clone X look like it's coming to market in October 15th. Frank Miller of Sin City just launched a coin in the last couple of days, and we have something called Dirty Bird Fight Club, which came out. There's so much NFT content out there. One of the things that I think about is how does a new venture break through into this marketplace? And when I think about that, I contemplate a company like Clout.art. You guys are bringing a way for content creators to be able to monetize their content. I'm wondering how you guys are breaking into the market. What is your unique value proposition?
Oh, that's a great question. And from somebody to touch on the metrics first, from somebody who's been in this space since late 2017, this is just incredible. Nobody, at least people I speak to, nobody anticipated this kind of growth in the last year. And you did mention Vibo. I'll tell you this, like with Vibo 2 years ago, we had a really hard time fundraising because very few of the investors back then believed you could sell a JPEG for $500, let alone 69 million. So, the times have turned. I think we're in a very good spot right now. And with Clout.art, I think what's very unique with us is, we're seeing a lot of these social NFTs platforms pop up right now. Many of them have great value propositions. They're very unique. And what we do differently is when we say we're focusing on helping people monetize their content, it's not the content that they create right now. It's rather the content that's been on the platform, social platforms, or Web 2.0 platforms that they've been using for the last 10 years. And we're kind of trying to figure out what's the best way to transition from that Web 2.0 model to a Web 3.0. So instead of having, like we're starting with Instagram, for example, the first version of the product is with Instagram. So instead of having your posts locked in, on the timeline from 2016, you're able to basically turn them into an NFT in a proper way. I see that because it's super easy to just stick an image and mint it on OpenSea. That's, everybody can do that. But how do you really capture all that value and transform it into an NFT so that you can say, justifiably afterwards, it is worth that much. A lot has to do around some of the metrics that we kind of look at, what we measure. We kind of came up with our own score. But in general, what Clout.art, to kind of put it in simple terms, what we're doing is we're trying to find what's the best way to turn existing content from legacy platforms and make it ready for the new era. So where the value is democratized and it can be transferred around freely. And Instagram is just the first use case. So I think we're going to have many more in the future.
So does Clout.art, and is that how you pronounce the company, Clout.art?
Yeah.
Does it exist on top of Instagram, or is it a separate destination?
The goal is to have it sit on top as a layer on top of Instagram, on top of TikTok, on top of all these other social media platforms we use today. And the hypothesis is very simple. I've known a fair share of founders who've built their social networks in their lifetime. And what they all say to me is like, it is one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing ever, to build a social network, a social community, because it is just so hard to convince users to transition from something that, these guys have built their communities on Instagram for the last 10 years. What's a really good reason for them to take what they have and move to a completely new ecosystem? And NFTs alone, in my opinion, are not a good enough reason. So the way we look at this space is there's going to be a transition, and we want to be kind of like the bridging solution to when it comes to that, people are ready.
Jure, that's a really, really interesting project. I just wanted to jump in and ask you a question.
Sure.
On top of Instagram, you're built on top of TikTok, and obviously it makes a lot of sense why people would want to turn their, most popular TikToks that went viral or whatever, into NFTs so that you can sell them. What's your plan for, deplatforming risk, right? I think these legacy Web 2.0 giants have, a historical record of kind of turning off API access rather arbitrarily. So I'd just be curious what your guys' approach to solving that problem is.
That's a great question. We thought about that first. We're not reliant on them. So everything we pull is being pulled through it's not the right word to say decentralized, but we kind of have a distributed system that basically accesses only whatever is available to public. Because that was a serious issue when we were talking to our investors in the beginning. It was like, if we make these guys angry, they're just going to say, listen, your API connection doesn't work anymore, right? So, I've seen it happen before with a gaming startup. They've worked with, I think, with Steam. And at some point in time, Steam just said, no. And, you have to pull the plug at that point. So, yeah, we thought about that. I think, we did try really hard to access the public data and see what we could gather from the public data. Just to give you a bit of insight, we even look at the ratio of how many posts to how many followers to when the followers came in. We measure some sentiment. But the goal is that at the end of the day, when you do the transition, and I didn't even tell you the best part, when you delete the post, because you have to delete the post, otherwise you can't transfer value based on research that we've done. So that when you create an NFT and delete the post, you've captured in that post as much value as you could have. You cannot capture everything, obviously. It's like, you'd have the first copy of Mona Lisa done by the original artist himself, and then you'd have the original burnt. You would still capture a lot of the value in the copy, but it would never be the first one. But what's on the table here is you're making that post liquid right now, so you're able to sell it. And I can tell you from the discussions we've had, just like taking I won't say any names, but a very important or a very well-known sports star, when he changed his club, the first post with his new jersey, that's of immense value to the fans. And apart from the other NFTs that are out there, what you have here, you have validation from the market, because you can just look at the likes. And if 5 million people say, I like that, that is measurable, right? It's not like contemporary art where you're kind of guessing, well, is it 1 ETH on OpenSea? Should I pay 2 ETH? And it's a different type of valuing these posts and these NFTs. And that's what I think we're super interested in.
Do you think that the fractionalization of the current marketplace poses a threat to the value of these NFTs? Because I think that when I contemplate what Scottie is working on, it seems to me that that might very well be one of the problems that they mean to solve at Calaxy.
Yeah, is that a question for me over here?
I was wondering if Scottie wanted to chime in about how Calaxy works and whether or not that solves the problem of the fractionalization, reducing the value of NFTs.
I think you might be confusing me and Scottie's projects. I'm working at Calaxy over here.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
DOKO. My apologies. I meant DOKO.
So your question is regarding
Whether or
DOKO.
not the fractionalization of the NFT marketplace poses a threat to each NFT's value, and whether or not DOKO solves that problem.
Yeah, I don't think DOKO exactly is trying to solve the liquidity issue. What DOKO is actually, we're just trying to be a single portal platform for all NFTs. We are a multi-chain NFT portfolio manager, right? I think that we are seeing a lot of NFT contents being produced, different types of content. Of course, some of them are access to content, some of them just artwork, and they're building on different chains per se. So it's coming from a real problem that we have on our team. So we just want to have one place to be able to view, access, and interact or engage through the NFTs from one single place, or even be able to share on social media and being able to verify that is you have that ownership, right? And of course, we have a lot of other features. We just want to be convenient. We just want to provide conveniency for people. So we really are not trying to solve any liquidity issue or trying to be an exchange per se. But with that said, I mean, we are trying to provide value for the community. I think there are a lot of opportunities and problems happening. We can identify in any kind of developing sector. So, but to what you guys are just saying about social media, I do believe that is the future, right? Whether or not our users on DOKO could actually showcase they actually own a piece of content through the verification of NFT, right? I think that will be the future. You are able to own a piece of content beyond just collectible value that you're seeing for most cases at the moment. There's actually economic valuations or economic revenue stream coming from holding that piece of content. So I think that's the beauty of it. I'm excited about it.
What do we, as a group here, see as the biggest challenge to the current NFT marketplace when it comes to the social components being distributed via channels like Discord? Is that the only way that we're going to see these types of NFTs get launched, or are there going to be other communities that are able to get these types of assets out there?
Scottie, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so your question is basically on NFT as access to content or NFT as a piece of content and how they could be distributed, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. That's a good question. I think so from my experience, at least I can speak about my experience in terms of advising different music festival or even artists or entertainment companies. The way to think about distributing that is, really not through a single platform, I would say. It's about how these NFT could be applied. I mean, they are trying to build a new fan economy, whether or not the NFT or even a social token represents a tradable subscription to access the contents, or is actually collectible. I think they're most of the time we're distributing that through themselves, right? On the websites. They're being applied to their own community. Sometimes you do see Discord would be a good channel for people to actually use NFT as a access to the data community. There's bots on Discord. I think Collab.land is a bot on Discord that can actually verify if you have certain NFT before allowing you to join a private channel. So I think users are not really sticky, in my opinion, to one single exchange or platform when they are trying to buy or obtain certain NFTs. They could be sold and they could be given by doing certain activities, through fan engagement. But yeah, if they want to get the content, I feel like the users are able to just get it anyway. They will go to the website directly or they go anywhere. So it's not sticky to one platform. That's just my opinion.
I think this is one of the things that Calaxy is actually kind of focused on. So Calaxy really sees ourselves as kind of an open social marketplace built for creators. And what we mean by that is we have a very familiar social feed. You have stories, you have Instagram-like experiences. But when you go to a creator's profile, you can actually do two things. You can see all the social stuff, obviously. But we do two unique things. So you can buy and trade their social tokens directly in the Calaxy application. And you can redeem those social tokens for familiar and intimate experiences like video calls or live video messages, paid DMs, or even monthly fan club subscriptions, as we like to call it, where you get access to premium content like a Patreon. In addition to the social tokens and paying for services with those tokens, we also enable you to import your NFTs and collectibles from a variety of blockchain ecosystems, kind of like what Scottie was talking about. We want to be one of the coolest places in the industry to show off your NFT collections. And we're doing this. So right now we're supporting the Hedera network. We also support Ethereum. We're working on Polygon integrations. Roham from Dapper Labs and Flow is an advisor and friend of the project. So we're working with them on integrating NBA Top Shot and stuff like that. And so we're a really unique platform where you can actually have these NFTs. And if you actually hold, some of our celebrities' NFTs, you might get access to their fan club subscriptions on a monthly reoccurring basis. Other things that make us unique are we're actually co-founded by an NBA player, Spencer Dinwiddie, who has some clout in the crypto community. He's currently the point guard on the Washington Wizards. But through his organic network of creators, we have over 100 content creators already signed up to launch social tokens and NFTs, kind of across the gamut of what you see the creator economy. So, Instagram models, huge target demographic for us. People will pay to be in the top of their DMs and pay for access to exclusive content. NFL and NBA players, people want their memorabilia, they want their collectibles, and we're kind of helping usher that in. And so I think, Calaxy really aims to be one of the next places that these communities or the creators themselves can have what we're seeing in the crypto community be kind of nascent niche clubs like Bored Ape Yacht Club, et cetera. But we can actually bring that to, we have Ezekiel Elliott, the running back for the Dallas Cowboys, signed up. All of Zeke's fans can buy into his social tokens, buy into his NFTs, and get access to exclusive content right in the same place that they see his, social posts. So I think that over time we'll see the market move from Discord to more dedicated platforms. No one's saying that Discord was built for these types of communities or built for these types of managements. It's nice that they enable all the bots and the tools that people need. But I think over time we'll find more, well-suited platforms, hopefully like Calaxy, for these use cases.
Do you find, Cooper, that you have to build entire campaigns around each of your influencers, celebrities, or do you find that they are equipped to be able to handle it themselves and you provide them a place to do it?
That is a really, really good question. It totally depends on the type of person, right? So we think of creators in the creator economy in two buckets. We see influencers and people that are celebrities, professional athletes that, are thought leaders. People follow them for, any variety of reasons. But then you also have like the pure content, the creators, people that want to make their own content, that want to curate their own communities, like artists. A lot of what you see in the current NFT craze are people that want to create and distribute themselves. And so for the influencers of the world, we provide a really concierge-like service. We'll actually design the NFTs for you. We'll coordinate the pack drops. We'll do the entire marketing for you. But we also enable you, if you just want to do it yourself and have a self-service model, that you can do so. I think over the next couple of weeks, you'll actually see us probably announce some campaigns that we're doing, which are kind of like NBA Top Shot like packs, where you might be able to buy into a pack that has 30 different Instagram models or 5 different reality TV stars. And so those are things that we'll do full service design resources and creative for them, as well as help them put it into the market. The nice thing is that, as of right now, almost every creator on Calaxy has over 1 million followers or so. And so we don't really need to help with the distribution or the promotion of those things after they exist, right? We just need to service them with the technology. And then by virtue of them being creators and influencers, they're pretty good at engaging and getting the word out there already.
Yeah, if I may jump in here really quickly, because we had a similar experience. A lot of people asked us, what are our distribution channels? And the simplest way of explaining what Clout.art is doing is like we're Alexa. So we are allowing people to mint their own NFTs from their social media posts or any other content that's already out there, and then they use the channels that they've been using ever since they've started their influencer journey, like posts, stories, stuff like that, and to promote these NFTs. So it's not, we're kind of like just the guys in the middle who trying to figure out what's the best way to translate from existing legacy platforms to the new world or new dynamics. And they can just use the communities that they have, and they should be using the communities that they have. Otherwise, they're leaving money on the table, if you ask me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And this, I think what you're doing really resonates with what we're doing at Calaxy. We should probably talk after this and see
let's talk.
Get some of these Instagram models and their NFTs made. But what we do is we're trying to build all those things into like one place, right? So like we want a stories feature in the same application that you can buy their NFTs and that you can join their fan club subscriptions, and just make it really, really seamless. And then you do bring the biggest point, which is how do you get adoption? How do you get your fans to migrate into a new community? And the nice thing is, because we combine both social tokens and NFTs, we can create really custom incentives. So, your first 100 or first 1,000 or all of your Twitter followers that follow you on Calaxy could get access to one of your first NFTs for free, or they could get, $10 worth of your social tokens that they can use for engagements. And so I think that bridging the fans between ecosystems is probably one of the most difficult challenges that we expect to face over time. But we think once you do have that tight integration between social feeds and fandoms and digital collectibles, your fans won't really need to, or hopefully want to, go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Scottie, do you think at this point that the way that these NFTs are being sold has a component to it that eliminates a population of people, or is there an exclusivity to the way that it works currently, that maybe a broader adoption could be achieved through a different version of how to sell NFTs?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think, well, aside from a technology limitation to certain geographics, I think what both of you guys are doing is right. I think the most seamless transition and adoptions for the general public to go into blockchain is allowing them to just being on the same platform, or allowing them to actually transition from the same place, right? So I think right now I'm talking to a lot of the artists and a lot of the different entertainment companies. They are trying to get their head around it, and being able to offer. They're not trying to think about offering a new product. Whatever fans that they have already globally that are able to see them on whatever social media through the internet, they're just trying to giving them a better, enhanced way, an improvement way to interact with the idols. So I don't see there's a lot of limitations. I think there is a little bit of education that needs to be done, right? And so if you are asking them to completely use a different platform to view some existing content, maybe difficult, but if there is value in terms of getting to what they want to get, they will. There's a little bit of a balance there. The best exchange of content obviously is already in Instagram or YouTube, right? People viewing certain contents or people producing certain content, the equilibrium is already being matched there. So that is already a great content exchange itself. So just applying that digital layer on top of it to facilitate that exchange is what we're trying to get at here. I think that, it's the main topic that we're trying to discuss. So there's a little bit of education, but I don't think there's a lot of limitation. It's incredible how much adoption and how much even in Asia. I'm sitting in Asia now. Looking at the development countries like Philippines or Vietnam or even Thailand, they are even more advanced than some of the guys I'm seeing in Hong Kong, right? So it's incredible. I think the fans are. This is the best way, because if you think about it, I think before the panel we had a little bit brief discussion. I think the next wave of blockchain adoption is going to be led by celebrities, athletes, KOLs, because they are the top 1% and they actually have influence on the rest of the 99% per se. And so if you're talking about adoption, this is the place. What you guys are doing, what we are doing and talking about is so critical. We're not just making something to just trade. We're making something for people to actually use and actually adopt. And you bring them on from 0 to 1 onto blockchain, and this is incredible.
Yeah, it's tricky though, because when you look at the token Clone X and the fact that in order to get into Clone X, you need to have previously owned the RTFKT in order to get a real good shot at that particular NFT. And that looks to be one of the ones that I'm seeing is going to be really hot in the next couple of months. There is this component to it that suggests that if you're not on the deep inside of the NFT space, you may have a harder time really benefiting from some of these drops. I wonder whether or not that's going to change. And when I think about some of the NFTs that we're looking to do for entertainers, there is a movement afoot where maybe we can build these NFTs with a more reasonable growth mechanism. Like, I don't know if you've seen what's going on with the non-existent token, but it looks to me like it's a token that rewards people in a more incremental way than a hype machine kind of way. I'm curious if that's going to be an evolution where we get to a place where we level off on the NFTs, or are they always going to be this hype machine model, not unlike the sneakerheads products that are out there in the world? And I'm not sure who would want to answer that question or whether or not that's actually the direction that the industry should go, but feel free to take at it, whoever would like to.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think that you bring up a good point. We're really at a admittedly speculative phase of the market. People are buying into projects because they want price action, they want appreciation. I think that there's a subset of the market that really does want access and exclusivity and bragging rights. And I think that market segment will continuously grow over time. And when you talk about bringing NFTs from 500,000 buyers to 50 million buyers, it's not going to be because there's a $50 trillion NFT market cap, but it's going to be that there's going to be enough value and utility in the ecosystem, in the bragging rights, in the access and exclusivity, that there's enough people that want that distribution. And so I think what Scottie actually just mentioned is that when you talk about getting NFTs in the hands of 50 million people into 500 million people, and they're not doing it for price action, they're doing it for exclusivity, for collectability over time, for bragging rights, you really need to lower the floor price of NFTs. It can't cost $50. It can't cost $100 to mint a token. That's just fundamentally not going to address the markets that Scottie just mentioned, Thailand, the Philippines. It is going to price out a huge, huge portion of the people who would want those things. And so, personally, I'm excited about, like, on Calaxy, we do free NFT minting. NFTs on Hedera only cost $1. Calaxy will pay that dollar fee for you. Maybe if people are minting millions and millions of NFTs on Calaxy, like, maybe we can't afford that. We need to rethink our business model. Don't get me wrong. But also at that point, we would have a great, great user traction and be able to find other sources of revenue. So I think the thing that I'm most excited about is not really focusing the industry on ways that we can create the next Punks, the next Bored Ape, the next $2 million collection, but the way that we can create collections that are like $5 to $20 that thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people want to be a part of. And so that's kind of what I'm excited about. But I actually don't know if that really answers your question.
It sure did. I think that ultimately it's going to be a function of using NFTs as a tool that supports the community, that supports whatever the concept is of what the product is, as opposed to whether or not you're going to have something that is out of the gate an exclusive type of arrangement. So I think that ultimately you're referring to an era of NFTs that will be much more inclusive, and that is very hopeful to me. So we're out of time, gentlemen. I really appreciate your contributions to this conversation. And if you'd just like to round up by saying how the audience can get in touch with you with any further questions, I think that would be most helpful to them. Cooper, would you like to start?
Yeah, I'll go first. Thank you so much for hosting the panel. Shout out to Justin and the team for creating, a wonderful group of people Obviously, everyone here is super, super bullish about the creator economy and how Web3 is going to fit into that picture. So it's wonderful to be among colleagues. If you want to stay up to date with Calaxy, you can sign up for early access on Calaxy.com. We're live in beta right now and expect to move to a more public beta over the next couple of weeks. You'll also see us doing NFT drops and campaigns with a number of professional athletes, content creators, and celebrities over the next couple of weeks as well. If you want to follow me on a personal note, it's on Twitter at Cooper_Coons, and you can see me posting all the Calaxy updates that you might want to hear. But yeah, thank you again for having me on the panel.
Thank you.
Scottie?
Scottie? Go ahead, Yuri.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks. I really enjoyed this. I'm so happy to meet both of you, Cooper and Scottie. Let's connect afterwards. I am super bullish about this space. I think, like we've already figured out, everybody's talking about the right thing here moving forward. If you want to follow Clout.art, just type in Clout.art in Google. You'll find us. We're on Twitter. We just did a very successful token sale a couple of days ago in token launch. But yeah, same as with Cooper, we have a platform that is live, and we are slowly onboarding users who are early to sign up. And we haven't publicly launched yet because we're still finalizing some of the deal with the big big names that are coming on board. But yeah, shout out to Esther and the organizers. This has been great.
Terrific. And how do we get in touch with you, Yuri?
Just look me up on Instagram. It's Jure Z. Terrific.
All right. Thank you. And Scottie.
All right. Well, thank you for the time, and it's great to be connected with you all today. Shout out to Esther as well. Esther introduced me to the whole group here. But if you guys want to stay in touch with me, I'm on Twitter. Oracle Skull is my Twitter, or you can find DOKO. Just type in DOKO, DOKO, NFT, and you will be able to find us on Twitter. So if you have any NFTs at all, and on Solana's, on ERC or whatever, and you want to be able to plug in all your wallets into one place and be able to kind of see and view and access, try us out. We're still in beta mode, but DOKO.1 is the website. You can find us on Twitter, like I said, and check us out. Join our Discord, because we have a rarity bot that is for free for projects to integrate and for you to actually use it. So just in 3 days, we already have integrated with 95 projects, and we have a lot of traffic on our Discord. So, and we're going to be having more features coming out. So join our Discord, find us on Twitter, and it's all free. So check it out. Thanks.
All right. And with that, we're a wrap, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Have a great day.